So welcome back, everybody. Got another video on my John Deere series. Today we're going to be doing an oil change on my X350 here. So I'm not going to go into the finer details of doing an oil change. There's plenty of videos there. But what I'm going to be doing here, this is only going to be the second oil change I've done. So I did one at 10 hours, the initial, and then I always recommend doing one at least once a year. So this would be my once a year oil change for the $17 that it is. It's really not worth not. I also recommend changing the oil, fuel filter at least once a year. Check your air filter. Spark plugs, modern spark plugs go a really long time, so that's kind of a case by case. The issue I found with the first time I changed the oil, the tube sticks out far enough past the frame, which is great, as opposed to that Troy-Bilt snowblower I did an oil change on. You can find that video somewhere. Maybe I'll even link to it up in the top right corner. They put it right flush with the back of the snowblower, so that was awful. So this, they at least stuck it out, but there's really no good way to get a drain pan in here. Unless you remove the deck, but to remove the deck to do an oil change seems kind of silly. So I feel like I'm kind of fumbling with the drain pan while trying to drain the oil out, which, that ended up making a bigger mess than it was worth. So I was at work one day and I walked past a zero turn that had nearly the identical engine. It was a Kawasaki engine. I don't know if it was the exact one, but close enough. And I noticed that it had, instead of a hard drain tube, it had, like a rubber hose on it that kind of came up. So, you could get it out to here. So I thought, well, Kawasaki's kind of a Kawasaki. Why would they change, thread diameters and such? So I did a little investigating, and it turns out that you can convert it over to this style of drain tube, which is exactly what we're going to do here today, the purpose of today's video. So I will leave part numbers for all of this in the description below. I was not paying attention when I had my coworker order this, and I only ordered one of these hose clamps, and I didn't want to order another 86-cent, so I just changed it over, did the other end in this. But you will need two of those. I prefer these style over this style. They're a little more low profile, and maybe I'll do that one day. So you'll need this end, this O-ring, this clamp, the hose, another clamp, and then this end. You could also order the plug that goes in the end of this, but it is the same, so I didn't want to spend the extra money, and it's only a couple dollars, but I figured, there's only 26 hours on this, and I've done one oil change, so there should be nothing wrong with that O-ring or that plug. So that can definitely be reused. And I'll just throw it on the ground here. So obviously we're going to need to drain the oil. Like I said, I've got to do an oil change anyway. So convenient filter right here, the drain here. That's another issue I'm trying to work on. When I did this the first time, they put, let's see if I can get it here. They put this little trough right here to help drain the oil, but it just goes right onto the frame. So again, you're trying to, I've seen lots of guys use cardboard or planks of wood or some kind of, they fashioned an oil bottle to help drain it out, and that, and that works. I guess you're not changing the oil on these really often, but it's just kind of a pain to me. For now, we're going to switch to this. I will have to find a way to kind of, get it up in there at some point when we're not changing oil. I'm probably going to remove this panel here because this has, I don't know if you can see it very well, some kind of lock ring on this, so this doesn't come backing out. We'll see if that'll fit back on there. If not, I'm not going to worry about it. So I'll get all this set up. We're going to drain the oil. Probably take the filter off too to get more room in there, get this panel off. And I'll get back to you when we're done with that. Okay, so you see I've got the panel off there. That was one bolt. I have drained all the oil as best I can. I know it's still going to make a mess. Got the oil filter off. So let's zoom in here. So there's this locking ring right here, and I believe only this one tab is flopped over, so that just keeps it from backing out. So we're gonna have to lift that up, and then this here is in. Everything else thus far has been metric, but this hex here, 1 1/16. So I have an 1 1/16 inch wrench. Not sure how many of you at home do, but a big crescent wrench will work. So we're gonna pull that out, and we're gonna go from there. So I'm gonna try and stay out of your way here. But we're gonna try and do all this on camera. So I have a little pry bar here to undo that tab. I don't recommend it, but I mean, if you don't have one of these, then a common screwdriver should work. So I'm just gonna flip that over, keep that in its spot, and then we're just gonna, and that wasn't on there very tight at all. So it is O-ring Boss, so it really shouldn't, it doesn't need to be that tight. So then we just pull that out, and like I thought, a whole bunch of oil is going to start leaking out. So, which is fine. I got a bunch of towels here, it's just going to get all over the place. But theoretically, only have to do this once. Just gonna keep going. Try and get my little makeshift pan there, and that little hole in the frame. Or I'm just gonna dump oil all over the ground. Alright, so we're back. I did make a mess. I've got floor absorbent, floor sweep, kitty litter, whatever you want to call it. You always want to pick up oil. So let's get back into this here. So I have removed the other one. You're going to put the other one on, which you're going to get 2 barbs, one of which is going to be metal. The metal side goes to the engine block. I'm going to attempt to put the locking ring on from the plastic one. It does go around, so you know, I don't even know if it needs to go back on, but I'm going to attempt to do that. So I believe, which way did it go here? Okay. So these ends here, let's zoom in on this. So these ends here hook onto that. So that's the way we're going to want to put it on. So we'll put this on here, make sure that's there. Threads are kind of deep in there because it's an O-ring Boss, so just get that in there as best you can. It is a 19 millimeter, so I've got two lengths of wrenches. I've got a short and a long. Judging by how loose that other one is, it doesn't need to be super tight. So this short one here should be fine. In fact, I don't even know if you could get the large one in there. So and that's that. So that's in there, and you're going to want to zoom in here. So one of these little tabs, either this one or this one, I'm thinking. This is the one that was moved before, so we'll just put that. We're going to want to put it flat down on one of those hex sides. Again, I don't know if that's needed. That's how it came from the other way. So we're just going to continue to do that here. So from there you'll get your tube. Make sure you put your hose clamp on first. So should just slide right on. And you will need to grasp it with a pair of pliers. And that should be that. And then we'll get the plug end from the old one if you did not buy a brand new one. And that should just, I get my fingers to work here, fit right in. And that should be that. So that's the conversion over. So we'll also need to find a way to attach it either to here, or there is also a empty hole here on the plate, on the body frame we had to take off. I'll leave that up to you guys. That'll be preference. You definitely just want to make sure it's out of the way of bumping into the hood here. But that should be it for this. You got any questions, leave them in the comments. I will leave a parts list, maybe links to them if I can find them on John Deere's parts website, which that shouldn't be a big deal. Call your local dealer if this is something you're interested in, get the parts. So that'll be it for now. Any questions, leave them in the comments. Would appreciate a thumbs up, and you guys have a good one.